Hi everyone and welcome back to Studio Biku. Recently my neighbour pruned her loquat tree, in Japan we call it a biwa, and she had lots of leaves left over and decided to donate them to my dye pot. The results were absolutely beautiful. I was amazed at how these thick and waxy leaves could make such beautiful earthy tones, especially on the kimono silk. In today's video, I'll take you through the whole process, from preparing the leaves for the dye bath, making a dye bath, dyeing the fabric, and the final results after drying. If you love nature, creativity, and sustainable crafting, then you're in the right place. Let's dive in. So now I'm going to trim the biwa leaves. They're very, very thick. And it's also got some buds on it, so I'm wondering if this is going to bring any colour. I can see a sort of pinkish colour, so I'm hoping it's going to be pink, but who knows. So it's time to trim up the biwa leaves and pop them in the pot. These are huge leaves, if you see them in scale in my hand. So I can't just put them in the pot like that. So to release... well, they're quite strong, they're quite thick, so I'm thinking that I'm going to need, my ikebana shears. The reason why I have ikebana shears is I used to be an ikebana teacher as well. Ikebana is Japanese flower arranging, so I used to teach that as well. Just one of my creative things that I used to do. Still do it occasionally, but not as much as I used to, but I don't teach anymore. Flowers are too expensive. Okay. I guess that's where my background from flower arranging came from, with my interest in natural dyeing. I'm sure that's where it came from. So I'm very thankful to my neighbours who totally understand where I'm coming from as well. So I've got, people looking out for different things to dye with, and that makes it really interesting. You never know what project you're going to have, with people just stopping by and just leaving stuff. Usually on gardening days, that's when I get a lot. It's a good thing to get to know your neighbours, because then you can ask them for different materials that they might have in their garden. If they could spare a branch or two of something. Kind of how it's working in Tokyo, but it's so strange because I think the image is that Tokyo is just not a very green city, but if you look, you can find stuff. I never cut things without asking as well, and I never pick things from parks. It's a good short way to getting arrested here, so don't do that. Please don't do that. Okay, these are the last leaves going in. My kettle is boiling away, and there's a lot of plant material in here today. So I should be able to dye a shirt or something similar. Just added some water to the pot, and I can see pink. If I just gather it all on one side, you can see a pink colour coming off already. Look at that pink coming off. And you can imagine after maybe 2 days, 48 hours, this is going to be really amazing. Sorry about the steam. So it's Monday morning, and this biwa pot has been soaking for about 2 days now, nearly 2 days. And I'm going to see what colour we got over the weekend. Let's have a look. Looks like there's something. I've put it on to heat just because it probably needs a bit more heat. Let's just move this to the side. Ah, okay. It's actually quite a nice sort of orangey tea colour. I wonder if it will make pink or yellow. I don't really know. I'm going to give it 30 minutes, bring it to the boil and let it simmer, and then we'll dye some fibres. In the biwa dye pot, I'm going to put this handkerchief. Now, instead of just dyeing it as is, I'm going to do some sashiko stitching on it and do a pleating technique so that when I put it in, it will dye in the visible areas and I'll have some kind of a pattern happening when I pull it out of the pot. Fingers crossed. So all you need for this is a needle. I'm actually using a sashiko needle, which is pretty long, pretty chunky. I'm using sashiko thread, which is really strong, and I'm using a handkerchief. You can use anything that you have that's cotton or silk or any natural fibre. So the dye pot is ready. It's really hot. It's been boiling for a while. It smells quite stinky in here, like as though I've got a pot of soup on. So I've got some alum mordanted silk swatches. I've got some bedsheet, cotton bedsheet, all 100%. I've got 100% cotton, 100% cotton handkerchief, which I've done the shibori on, and it's going to go in the pot. But first of all, I have a lot of plant materials in here that I need to get out. I usually don't bother taking out the materials, but in this case there's not much space for manoeuvre in there, and there's just full of leaves, so I'm going to get it all out. And I'm wondering if I could get even more colour off this if I hold on to it. It's been soaking for 2 days after being put in hot water, and then it's been boiling. Well, it was boiling and then simmering for just over an hour. This is the colour of the biwa dye just before I put the fibres in. It's a really gorgeous colour. Very happy with that. So normally I would soak the fibres, but because I'm doing this shibori technique, I'm going to put them in dry because I want to have some white areas. So let's hope that that will happen. I'm going to put it in. And also I've soaked the silk and the cotton beforehand, and I'm just going to put it in as well. I always do little swatches because I love to put them in my dye diary. I'll show you that at the end. I'm going to leave it in here for 10 to 20 minutes, and then I'm going to assess where we're up to. But I can show you the immediate effect is this colour already. And it looks like it's going to be yellowy orange. Very nice. At this point it looks yellowy orange, but you just never know. So I'm going to keep this on a very low heat and just to hope for the best. The fibres have been in the dye for 30 minutes and I can see some changes. Not as good as I hoped, but it has only been 30 minutes. So this is the, I'm going to try and get it out with it, the bed sheet. It's kind of a pinkish orange colour. I think when it dries it's going to be just like cream. Let's see. The shibori project doesn't look very changed really. It's the same kind of pinky cream. What a shame. But can you guess the silk? Incredible. It's absolutely gorgeous. So I think what I'll do, because I think I can get more out of this, is I'm going to just put the lid on, let it go cool, and I'm going to come and see what it looks like tomorrow morning. It's been 24 hours that the fabric has been sitting in the dye pot, and we'll have a look at what has happened. Wow, that is a gorgeous colour. It's made a kind of pinky brown, really pretty colour for the cotton. This is the shibori that I did. I don't think there's going to be much definition with the shibori, but we'll see. And of course the silk, always amazing. So I'm going to go and rinse this off and then I'll dry it and show you the final results. So I've just rinsed these and we're going to have a look at some of the colours while they're wet. That's amazing. Look at that. So I've got 2 pieces of silk and I've got a piece of bedsheet, which is kind of like a salmon pink. It's quite nice. This is a shibori, so we're going to have a go at taking this apart and see if we've got any, I don't know, and if it's going to work. Let's try. We'll take it apart. I'm just going to snip without cutting the fabric, obviously. Oh, it didn't work. Oh, maybe a little bit. Maybe a little bit. I think we'll be able to see it when it's dry, a little bit clearer. I'm looking for the knot. There we go. I just think it would have, I wish I'd done the shibori on silk now, because I think that would have worked really well. Never mind, it's all a learning curve. I like to show the failures as much as the successes so that you know the pitfalls. Although if you try these things on your own, it might work for you. It's all a bit hit and miss with natural dyeing. That's what makes it so fun, I suppose. Right, I've got all the threads out. One more. They're all out. Okay. And I can see some lines where the stitches were. I can see some white. I'm not going to hold my breath that it'll be that different. Although, you know, it's still quite pretty. I quite like what I'm seeing there. I could always dunk it in some iron, and there's some quite cute little marks from the leaves. Not a terrible, you can see it when I put it this way, not a terrible waste of time, but would I do it again? Probably not. It's time for the results of the Loquat dye, the biwa dye, and as expected, the silk did amazingly, as usual. Such a gorgeous kind of orangey pink. Not quite coral, but really pretty. And then the cotton, I did 2 types of cotton. I did the handkerchief with the shibori, and I did the bedsheet. The bedsheet came out quite a nice pink also, but it's a very, very, very pale, blush pink, and you can tell it's pink. It's not like it's very pale. So that's kind of pretty as a background colour. I like that one. So the shibori, I haven't had a chance to press it, but you can see there are lines where I did do the stitching. I just feel like I should have maybe made a stronger dye or done the shibori with a different dye, something that was going to give a bit more of a contrast between the two. But as it happened, it did work, but I don't know. I'll probably over dye this one, I think. I might do some eco printing on this one and just see what we can do. The other thing that happened is there were quite a lot of needle marks still left. So I'm hoping when I press that they will come out. But, you know, it did work, so I can't say it's 100% failure, but we'll see what we can do going forward. Thanks so much for watching today. I hope you enjoyed watching me get some colour out of biwa leaves. I personally am so thrilled with the colour of the silk, and I can't wait to dye something a lot bigger going forward in the future. Biwa is everywhere in Japan, so I'm very lucky to have a lot of access to it. All right, see you next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.